Thank you very much. Well, when people vote here for president, they aren't directly voting for the candidate. Instead, they're actually voting for a group of people called the electors, who are part of what's known as the Electoral College. These electors are the ones who formally decide who becomes president. So each state has a certain number of electors, but that's only based on its population size. The bigger states get more electors. For example, where I am here in Florida, where Trump will vote from, Florida has about 29 electoral votes. But when a candidate wins the most votes in a state, so generally gets all the state's electors except in two states, that's in Maine and Nebraska. The electors then will meet in December and cast their votes for president based on those results. But to be honest, this is just a formality, because by the end of tonight or even tomorrow, we'll know the candidate's performance right away. So the meeting in December is just a formality. So Congress then counts these electoral votes in January, and the candidate with at least 270 electoral votes wins the presidency. So in simple terms, just to simplify it, people who are voting today are voting for electors. The electors will vote for president, and the candidate who wins the most states with enough electoral votes, 270 at least, becomes the president.
Carol, we understand that you got exclusive access to the place where the tabulation happens. What goes on in there, if we can call it a tally center?
Indeed, NBS TV has got an exclusive access into the tabulation center for Miami here in Florida. So when a ballot lands here, it is separated from the identity of the person who has cast the ballot to keep the vote private. It is then scanned into a tabulation machine that records everything that is on the ballot. It is then transferred to election headquarters for further verification. All the ballots are audited and stored under tight security, like you see right there in the footage. The entire process is then monitored by cameras 24/7 and tight security, but there are also observation windows for public viewing just in case. When counting begins on election night tonight, no information cannot be released before it is 7 p.m. For example, it's just 1 p.m., so I have about 6 hours to go. And every ballot, after all this, it is safely stored for 22 months after the election. In any case, if there is cases of recounting or further checks, that will be required.
It's about 1 p.m. where you are, and should we expect the election to be called tonight? And then the other question I'd like to ask is, which group of people do you see mostly in the queues? Is there anybody my age in the queues?
Well, to be honest, the older people are the ones that I was seeing in the queues. Very few young people. I've noticed for like 4 polling stations that I've gone to, you see the older people, that's about 50 and above. They are the majority in the queues. But I spoke to some of them to understand what this election means to them.
And his A team that he put together with Elon Musk, RFK Jr., we're going to bring our country back to its constitutional roots. Before the 1900s, when they instituted a federal income tax,
America great,
and some of these other things. So we need to make America great again. And Trump and J.D. Vance, that's our ticket.
I was also able to speak to some of the young people that I found around, just to understand why they feel this election is not for them. And they told me that they feel alienated.
The process this time around.
Young people are not engaging because we feel like our voices do not matter. We feel like everyone has so much to say, but no one's really listening. And when we try to speak, we get belittled a little bit because of our age. People say that we think we know it all, but we really don't. We're trying to figure out life as we go on. And because we don't have that opportunity to voice our opinion or to say what we want to say, it kind of discourages us and draws us back.
Well, as you can see from those 2 clips, the young people do not feel part of this election. They do not feel this election is for them, even though they are a very critical demographic in this particular election.
It's 1 p.m. where you are. Do we expect the election to be called tonight?
What next? Well, that's a very good question. It's a few minutes after 1 p.m. where I am in Miami, Florida. And we'll wait 6 hours from now. It's about 7 p.m. I know in Uganda it will be late in the night, but that's when the polls will close, and then we'll get into the counting and then the tabulation, and then data will be compiled. But after here, we'll be going to one of the watch parties where the election will be watched from on the side of the Republicans. I told you Florida is what Trump will be voting from in a couple of hours from now. So it's going to be a watch party watching the election and how everything is going and how the numbers are coming in, and then we'll be able to tell you the mood and how everything will be going. But by the end of tonight or tomorrow, we'll be able to know who is going to be the leader of the United States. Back to you at the Political Command Center.
Thank you very much, Canary. I don't know whether it is your cameraman, but your cheeks look larger than usual. But anyways, thank you very much there.